When you vote in this upcoming election, you'll be voting on something that will affect every family in your state, the definition of marriage. Hello, I'm Tony Perkins, President of the Family Research Council here in Washington, D.C. How will same-sex marriage affect you? Well, if same-sex marriage becomes legal, then it must be taught as normal, acceptable, moral behavior in every public school. That means public schools in your state will make teachers in every grade, even kindergarten and early elementary school, literally indoctrinate your children into accepting homosexual marriage as the very same as your marriage. Now, don't think it can't happen in your community. It's already happened in Massachusetts.
The beginning of 2005, our son Jacob was going into kindergarten, and he came home with a diversity book bag. And in the diversity book bag was a book entitled Who's in a Family by Robert Scutch, and that introduces children to same-sex households.
Back in March of this year, our son came home Friday afternoon and bounded in the front door and said, "Mom, Dad, guess what? Our teacher read us the funniest book. It was so silly. It was about a prince who was getting married, but he didn't marry a princess. He married a prince." That afternoon, we sent the teacher an email message. The teacher called back and said that yes, it was a book about two princes who got married. King and King. It's a story that introduces the idea of men having a romantic relationship and getting married. We were shocked.
And your son is how old?
He's 7 years old, in second grade.
And they read this book to him?
Yes, in the formal classroom setting with his teacher as an authority figure presenting this concept as something that is good and right and the way things should be.
After the diversity book bag came home, we realized that the intention of the administrators and teachers was to affirm these relationships and gay marriage in the minds of children. When we went into the school, what we requested is parental notification when these issues are brought up by adults within the school, and the option to opt our child out of this type of indoctrination.
And then she said, well, she had checked with the administrators and they had said that this was not a parental notification issue.
One of the reasons they give is they said same-sex marriage is legal in Massachusetts. Therefore, we can broach it anytime with your child.
So when she would not acknowledge our parental rights in this area, we then went to our Judeo-Christian beliefs and our faith and said, well, you wish to affirm homosexuality to our son. You're presenting that which is sin as though it is not to our son, and we cannot allow that.
And I said, I'm prepared to sit here all night until I see some form of accommodation as a parent. To make a long story short, the accommodation they gave was to put me in handcuffs and send me to jail.
I couldn't believe that they were willing to arrest my husband because my husband and I just wanted parental notification. We want to raise our children to know God, and God has blessed us with the sacred responsibility to raise them for Him, and to know His truth.
And they were willing to handcuff a father and send him to jail. It was a 6x8 cell, filthy. But, you know, I felt I didn't have a choice at that point in order to fulfill my role and duty as a father. So we filed a lawsuit. Long story short, the district court said that they didn't think we have a parental right to be notified in this.
The federal court judge Mark Wolf ruled to dismiss our case. Every citizen should take the time to go read his judgment. He spoke about this book, Changing Minds, in which, to paraphrase, he believes that it's the school's job to change the minds of the young children, that they are indeed young and impressionable.
So it's translating directly into what the courts did on gay marriage, and then teaching the children it's okay. And in fact, you could be gay too.
Do you see the implications of legalizing same-sex marriage? It affects a lot more than a few homosexuals in your community. It affects every family and every child. Every household with elementary school-aged children will be forced to discuss homosexuality and same-sex marriage with their kids, even if they don't want to. And if your kids don't learn to say nice things about homosexuality, then they may face being ostracized or even disciplined for politically incorrect attitudes. This too has already happened in America as the result of the legalization of same-sex marriage in a few states. So, before you cast your vote, know the full implications of legalizing same-sex marriage. It changes everything. Visit this website to find out more about how you can stand with others protecting marriage in your state.